It was 3 a.m. in the morning and I received a call. The person on the other side said, Christopher, who we knew as Fat Cat, is dead.
It was 10 years ago when I received a phone call from my mum. She was crying. I said, Mum, what's going on? What's wrong? And she said, my cousin, he had passed away. And I was like, what do you mean, Mum? And she confirmed that my 21-year-old cousin passed away from suicide.
The youth is the future of any society, and the UK sure boasts of a bright bunch. However, rising gang violence, knife crimes, and mental illnesses including depression, stunt the development of these young ones, casting a shadow on the future.
10 years ago, I remember receiving a phone call from my mum, and she was crying. I remember my heart stopped and I thought, Mum, what's wrong? What's the matter? And yeah, she said my cousin had passed away. It made no sense because we saw him 3 weeks before and he was smiling, and it had been a few years since I last saw him, and he had grown. He was tall, handsome. He was excited about his training. He was training to become a chef. He was back, doing running. He seemed good, so it made no sense. And the whole family was in shock. We all kept on asking, why? But the sad reality is that we'll never know why he made that decision.
Initially, I didn't believe the guy. I thought they were trying to prank me. At 17 years old, I didn't believe that a friend of mine who was really close to me his life could have just been taken like that. The following morning in college, everybody confirmed that Christopher had been stabbed outside Mile End Station at 3 a.m. in the morning. So at the age of 19, I remember walking down a road in East London. I just dropped my friend to the cab station. And as I was walking down, I noticed a young lady walking towards me. She had striking dimples. She was smiling. I was thinking, wow. And I don't know, yeah, there was just something about her that just really drew me in. She's very good, very pretty. And she was smiling for some reason, so I just thought, oh, hi, how are you doing? Now she walked past, I actually grabbed her hand, excuse me. She was like, why are you touching me? And I said, oh, hi, my name's David. I can't even remember what I said, but I was just persistent.
Yeah, you followed me home.
I followed you home.
Yeah,
I think I escorted you home.
Really?
Yeah, I was being a gentleman.
Okay. We started speaking, and I think for us parents, I was like, nah, I don't do street guys or hood guys. You're wearing an Aviator jacket.
That was cool back then.
And I was like, no, thank you. But I think that the thing that stood out for me was your smile. You had a really warm, welcoming smile. And I thought, oh, he's cute. But I wasn't really looking for a boyfriend, so I gave you the wrong number.
Yes, that's what happened. I asked for her number. She gave me a number. And then when I got home, I tried to call the number. She said, this number does not exist. I was like, what? This girl.
Stranger danger.
Okay. A few months later, maybe around 6 months later, I saw her talking to one of my friends, and I approached her and asked, why would she give me the wrong number? And as I started questioning her, or asking her, she kind of acted nervous and jumped on the bus. Yeah.
And I literally jumped on the wrong bus to get away from you.
Wow. But I think after that,
2 years later.
2 years later, I became really serious with Christianity and started going to a church in Hackney. Mm-hmm. And then I heard about a really famous preacher at the time, Juanita Bynens, was coming to a church closer to where I live in Stratford. And so I went to the church. I also heard that Isana had become a Christian, and she also went to that church. So I thought, okay, let's hit two birds with one stone.
I actually remember the first time you walked into church, and I remember the exact outfit you were wearing. You came in suited and booted. You were wearing a black turtleneck top and pinstripe smart trousers, and I thought, okay. But I was trying not to get distracted, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to get distracted. I'm going to focus on God. I'm going to keep my eye on Him and not this new guy.
And as I walked into the church, I saw Isana. So I looked at her, I thought, okay, cool, correct. This is my new church. This is my new church.
After we got married, we were both heavily involved in the youth church and community work. You know, we had young people, you know, who were coming by often. We had friends, you know, popping by for tea, food. Yes, our home became a hub, and we really got to know the young people really well there.
And Isana's extremely resourceful, so when young people would come to the house and they needed support with CV writing, applying for jobs, applying for college, uni, Isana was able to kind of support them with that. I also was able to signpost them to organizations that could help them. There was a really pivotal moment when a young person was stabbed. He came directly to our house. I took him to the hospital, contacted his parents, and then took him home. But it became apparent that these young guys felt safe around us.
It was a growing epidemic. Young people were being stabbed, you know, weekly, sometimes daily. And it was scary for the young people that we were surrounded by. Because sometimes, you know, after spending time with them, we didn't know whether, you know, we would see them again.
There was a young guy who used to attend church whilst Isana was a youth leader. I saw him one Saturday evening as I was making my way home, and at the bus stop, and we spoke briefly. He said to me, oh, he's gonna come to church tomorrow. I said, yes, okay, cool, I'll see you. The following day, I saw his friends and I asked them, where is the young guy? They explained that he had been stabbed and he's dead.
Driven by their shared desire to enact change, David and Isana united their passions and diverse backgrounds to establish Vine Connect. This platform is dedicated to guiding individuals aged 17 to 25 away from crime, gang ties, and stagnation towards personal growth and constructive connections. Through Vine Connect, David rallied a robust network of partners, offering diverse opportunities and serving as credible mentors, while Isana, after pursuing a career in psychotherapy, launched the London-based chapter of Reset and Thrive to prioritize mental well-being as the panacea to self-development and societal progress.
Pretty soon we realized that the issue was bigger than us, way bigger than us.
Yeah, the issues were systemic. It was to do with funding. It was to do with their family. It was bigger than what we could initially provide. At the time, Isana and I were a young family trying to figure things out for ourselves, and you know, we could see the need of the community with the young guys that we were supporting. And
you know, one of the bigger issue was that the young people, they were afraid. You know, we're dealing with trauma from, you know, seeing their friends getting stabbed, you know, dying. You know, they themselves were afraid, and because they were fearful for their own lives, they started carrying knives, and you know, it just continued.
Yes, we needed funding. We needed organizations who were able to support our young people. We needed to support the families so they knew what to do with their young people. Yeah, it was bigger than us. So instead of dwelling on the problems, Isana and I started to seek solutions. Isana really was keen on supporting young people with mental well-being and the issues that they had around trauma. So she upscaled her and went to go and study psychotherapy. She's completed a master's in psychotherapy. I also went to study psychodynamic therapy, specifically around children and adolescents. I learnt more about the justice system and ways to help young people within the justice system. I started working with young people in prisons and supported them whilst outside so they don't re-offend, trying to find ways to break the cycle of re-offending.
And it was also important for us to connect with other organisations who were doing, amazing work. Connecting with them, joining forces, and also, collecting information and sharing it with our young people, so that they were aware of the resources and the support that was available for them.
Yeah, we started doing workshops where we invited families and professionals just to come and talk to young people from our community to say, I came from where you are now, and now I'm here. It started looking like we were having an impact. When people started coming alongside us and asking to support the programs that we were doing, people wanted to volunteer with and support and mentor some of the young people that we were supporting. And we also had young people coming back to us who initially were in prison, didn't know where they were going or what they were going to do with their lives. And now, after working with us or being supported by us for a period of time, were on a totally different trajectory in life, a more positive one. They were going to university, some of them were entrepreneurs, started their own businesses. And some of them were just staying out of trouble. So it was a victory. It was really good to see young people's lives changing.
Yes, and families, feedback from families, parents reaching out and saying, thank you for whatever you're doing, with my son. Or thank you for, supporting my daughter into employment or into training. And that was definitely rewarding to see the positive impact it was also having on not only the young people, but also their families.
So through our own research, it became apparent that young people believe that unemployment is a main contributor to gang affiliation and finding alternative ways to money.
Right, it's very true. And according to statistics, the employment rate in London amongst young people is over 16%.
Our aim within the next 5 years is to have at least 50 young people a year fully funded through our skills-based programs. That's electricians, mechanics, all these kind of skill-based programs, that carpentry, and what's the other one? Painting and decorating. Most of these programs per year cost about £4,000 per young person. And one of the companies that we've currently partnered with, the CEO personally wants to fund 2 young people per year for the next 5 years. So if we can get 50 young people into a skill every year, I think that would be pretty successful.
Yes, we've been having conversation with local organisations, and we've been crunching the numbers, and our target is also to support young people fully funded into higher education. So we all know that currently university fees are
skyrocketing.
Skyrocketing. And our target is to support 100 young people in the next 5 years in fully funded places in higher education.
I totally believe that many of these young people, if they were given the opportunity, would succeed in every single sphere, whether it be through the trade or at university. But we just need the opportunity to bridge the gap.
In the absence of thrones, or spotlighted doorsteps with political significance, they opted to be the catalysts of change in their neighborhoods. Crownless yet resolute, these everyday heroes in ordinary shoes put in their shifts to ensure a better society for us all.